Your mic is muted.
Oh, I know. I had to communicate a message on that. Sorry. Here goes nothing. This week's episode, the Joker wins big at the box office. What has us impressed at New York Comic Con? And we talk the best of farmers. All this and more as we once again... Oh, I didn't actually read. And we talk the best farmers insurance... And we talk the best farmers insurance commercials. All this and more as we once again delve into the pop culture cosmos. We are farmers. And we're back with another edition of the Pop Culture Cosmos. This is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and the Lakers Fast Break podcast coming right back at you here. Thanking you so much for listening to our entire list of great podcasts, including Topicocalypse as well. Well, actually, no, I'll save that for you. And checking out our entire list of awesome podcasts. But it wouldn't be a Pop Culture Cosmos without my good friend. He's our own J.K. Simmons of Pop Culture Cosmos. You got to check out what he's doing today at popculturecosmos.com, popculturecosmos.wordpress.com, Humanican Media, his awesome show Topicocalypse, and of course his brand new book, which you got to check out today. Congratulations, you suck. It is my good friend. It is Josh Peterson. We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Yes, farmer. Because we talked about
Geico
commercials, and I wanted to talk about farmers because I happen to think that they're a lot funnier than the Geico commercials. Are we discussing?
I disagree.
I don't know. Hey, listeners, we're taking a poll out here. Email us whether you think farmers or Geico is a lot funnier, and that way I have one more thing to rub Jerry's face in.
There you go. You can email us on that. Thank you, Joshy, at popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Also, as well, Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanican Media, Game Source on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can go ahead and send us your thoughts, and we'll go ahead and relate that on an upcoming show if we go ahead and get that type of interest. And, if we go ahead and get the results, which will be Geico all the way, I'm sure of it.
Also, I'm going to post my top 3 on our Facebook page, so you can check out links to those, so you can join the hilarity that I call the farmers insurance commercials.
Fair enough. We may even run a poll. How about that? Let's run a poll on the Facebook page. Let's go ahead and do that this week. We'll look for that. Geico or Farmers Insurance. The battle is now on between insurance versus insurance. But it is going to be a great episode we've got for you planned this week. I've got a review coming up here in a few minutes. Unspoilery, of course, non-spoiler review for the Joker coming up on the first half of the show. I'm going to talk about my thoughts on the Joker, which has done great at the box office so far. But on the back end of the show, the last half hour, 15 minutes of it will be devoted to Jason Todd Feinberg from Hunniqueen. He's going to be talking about his thoughts on the Joker, but it will be full of spoilers. So for 15 minutes, it will actually have spoilers. So I will tell you that right now up front. So between the 30 to 45 minute area, you might want to go ahead and maybe fast forward a little bit or check out something else and come back on the back end of the show after the 45-minute mark if you haven't checked out the movie and you want to without being spoiled. But also as well, we've got a lot of great things to talk about. New York Comic Con is here. New York Comic Con is live. New York Comic Con was live this weekend, and we're going to talk about some of the things that interested us in regards to some of the upcoming shows and premieres and trailers that they showed at the NYCC. Also, as well, we're going to be talking about numbers 61 to 70 in our top 200 video games of all time. And of course, like we said earlier, we are farmers. We're going to talk about our favorite farmers insurance commercials on the back end of the show. And Jamie Monroy from Game Source has his thoughts on Sniper Elite 3 that's now on the Nintendo Switch. But first off, my friend, it is the Joker. It's done. It didn't do $100 million at the box office domestically this weekend, but my goodness, it still has a huge October record, almost 100 million, well over $90 million, here domestically. A big win for Warner Brothers. For an R-rated October movie, I can't believe it did so well from the first time. Again, I know I've said this ad nauseum, but from the first time we saw the first trailer, to where it is now, it is something to behold. Your thoughts on the Joker, how well it's done, and are you also surprised that it's done so well?
No, I wasn't actually, because is like I said the other day, Joker has all this publicity behind it, right? Because they're talking about it in the news. Joaquin, that interview that Joaquin Phoenix did with IGN, where they're asking him about the if he thinks that people are going to show up to the movie theater and start, with guns, and like that interview got a lot of publicity. Plus the fake clip that got put up on Jimmy Kimmel that Joaquin Phoenix wasn't happy about. Like they did a great job of marketing it, and I don't even know if they did a lot of this stuff on purpose, but with all the stuff going on in the news and the mixed reviews all over the place, I know it's no longer certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It has a lot going for it, a lot of intrigue and curiosity, and a lot of publicity that they didn't really even have to pay for. So I see why people want to go see it. Like I personally don't really want to see it. I'll probably watch when it comes out, but I can see why people are curious enough to go and see what this movie is all about.
Well, I have seen it, and I'll tell you my thoughts on the movie in an unspoilery fashion. I mean, a lot of people have been coming up to me and asking me, well, did you like it? Did you like it? Did you like it? I think
wait, hold on. Did you like it?
Well, thank you for asking. I think liking it is not exactly the term I use. Did you experience it? I think is probably the best way to say it, because I don't think you can say you can like or not like this film, really. I mean, it's just not a film that is going to be something that's going to be happy and cheery or provide, something that's going to have you laughing outside, leaving the theater. This is something that is going to be considered probably one of the darkest movies put on, at least in a long time. This is one of the darkest movies to come out in a long, long time. I mean, it descends very quickly into a dark place, and it stays there, and it continues to stay there. I will say that the performance by Joaquin Phoenix is outstanding. Is it better than Heath Ledger? I'm not sure. I'm going to probably say no, but I would have to see both movies, The Joker and also as well Dark Knight Rises, back to back to just make sure in my mind. But I think right now, going off of the times I've seen The Dark Knight, I'd say Heath Ledger's performance is just a smidgen better than Joaquin Phoenix's, but still, they're both very good performances. The movie itself by Todd Phillips, his direction and narration, his direction of the movie, I think is one of the keys to why this movie is a success, financially, of course. As far as, again, a movie, this being something that you think you're going to go into and think it's going to be cheery or think it's going to be something that it's going to be bright or anything uplifting, no, leave that out the door. This is a movie that goes into a deep descent into a dark, dark place, and it never comes out of it. It's something that you experience. I mean, people there were trying to laugh at some of the jokes or some of the things that went on. There was really only one time where you could actually laugh, where there was an out loud laugh moment. But for the rest of the movie, there were times where people were trying to laugh at certain parts of the movie, but you really couldn't, but they were trying to anyways, because it's such an uncomfortable movie as well. And people were just trying to laugh. Like when you laugh at an uncomfortable time, an uncomfortable moment, you use laughter as a way to try and ease the type of tension and type of situation that you're in. I think a lot of people in the theaters were trying to do that and force themselves to laugh to try and even bring down their emotions during this type of film, because it's a movie about Arthur Fleck, someone whose life was already in some type of disarray, not only as far as from a mental, emotional, or even a physical or financial state. He was just not a very well person, and all it took was a society push, a push by society to take him even further down that realm. And that's what this movie does, is it shows a darker side of mental illness, but also shows and represents a statement on class structure as well, that I think people, if they want to go ahead and find out more about that and understand more about that, then they do need to check out this movie. I think it's a very good movie. It is right now in my top 10 of 2019. Whether or not it stays there or where it goes, could be 1, could be 10. I'm not entirely sure, because again, it's something whether you don't, something whether it's a type of movie, it's a type of movie that you not necessarily like or don't like. It's a movie that you experience or you just go through. And for a lot of people, I can see why that they just go through the movie and they just come out of it saying, you know what, this movie was not what I was asking for, not what I was looking for, because it's not what you think it will be. It's just, again, a journey to a deep, dark place. You're never sure 100% whether it's reality or what's in Arthur Fleck's mind. I can tell you that much, because there's so many different scenes that represent so many different things. Some of it's out in front that it tells you it's real. Some of it's out in front that tells you it's imaginary. Some of it is shown later in the film, whether or not it's real or not. So right now I can tell you that for me, it's something that from a directorial standpoint, Todd Phillips did an amazing job. I think to me, that's the star of the film. But then again, this is a film that goes ahead and really, really goes and sets you on a journey and a path towards a very dark place, and it never comes out of it, but it does a great job of telling that story to you along the way, with one exception at the very end, the very, very end, after really the movie is, for all intents and purposes, done. I think this was a very well-crafted movie. I think Joaquin Phoenix did a very, very good job. And I'm telling you, if you want to see it for those aspects alone, go see it. But if you want to go in thinking yourself, okay, this is going to make me, just going to go ahead and check out a good movie, it's going to put me in a good mood for the rest of the day, or I'm just going to go ahead and check it out as far as something, maybe as far as an escape or as far as something for entertainment, it's not that. It's not something that you're going to go ahead and say and come, and it's not going to go ahead and come out and have you go ahead and have a smile on your face for the rest of the day. What it is going to do, whether you think it's good or whether you think it's bad, it's going to have you coming out of that theater and make you think. And I think that's what it does a great job in doing.
So basically, it's not really a film as much as it is a look at one man's descent into madness.
Pretty much. Think of it like this. Heath Ledger, well, people who are watching us on our YouTube channel can see you on the right and me on the left. Let's put this as far as a before and after. Heath Ledger's Joaquin Phoenix in The Joker, let's say, is the before, and Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight is the after. So you have before the Joker was created, and you have after the Joker was created. So it basically, I think a lot of people over the course of time, in the coming years, will always talk about which they like more, Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix. You should actually look at it in the context of, do you like your Joker story told before or after his rise to fame and power?
So I had actually read something where this guy was talking about how the Joker movie was interesting, but it felt empty without Batman. So he basically said, like, it's one of those movies where it's good, but the Joker can't exist without Batman. Like, you don't get a full movie experience because you're expecting Batman to show up. The Joker because of his relationship with Batman. Is that true?
No, I disagree with that, because this is an origin story. This is a story of how Arthur Fleck's rise as the Joker came about. Whatever it is you want to say, it's fantasy, reality, what have you. Batman is in the hints and drops towards Batman's character is alluded to, or at least the familiar themes, I should say, in regards to how Batman came about is within the context of the film. So Batman is a presence in the movie. It's just something that with the rise of the Joker, you have to go ahead and tell his story. I think if Batman were shoehorned into it, or at least the character of Batman, the one we know as far as the adult, the crime fighter that we know today, was shoehorned in somewhere in the movie, that would be wrong, because it takes place in a time and an era where things needed to fall into line so that Batman could become the Batman we all know and love, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. Isn't one of the Waynes is in it though? Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, all the Waynes are in it.
Yeah. Okay.
Thomas, Bruce, because you see, I can say this because it's not spoilery because it's in the trailers. He's holding a young man. Arthur meets Bruce Wayne as a young boy. So I mean that tells you right there what time context it's in. So there's physically no way Batman could be involved in this film because Batman has yet to be conceived as far as a character is concerned. And the same thing for the Joker. That's why this film is what it is, because it's the growth of the Joker and just the aura of Batman and the without giving too much away in spoilers, the aura of Batman and the illusions of the alludement, I guess I'm trying to say the presence of Batman is there, but if the Batman was in the movie, I think it would be a really awkward fit because this is telling the Joker's story and it needs to encompass his story and his story alone.
Okay, so do you think that this is a movie that they will try to squeeze into the DCU in some way? Do you think they would have Joaquin Phoenix come back to play the Joker, maybe in the Matt Reeves Batman in some form?
Well, first of all, there's, even though it could possibly end on that note with with the ending that I think a lot of people thought would be the ending, although they shoehorned something at the end I thought was very unneeded. But at the, close to the very end, there's a scene or the closing scenes have you think that the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, could be someone who, at least in the 80s, could be some, if you had a movie set in the 80s, like maybe possibly even the Batman with Robert Pattinson's Batman, could be something that, could be intertwined. I'm not sure that would be for the benefit of the audience because I think Joaquin Phoenix's Joker should be left alone after this movie. I think it should be done. But the way it's alluded to at near the end of the film, I think it leaves itself open for him being involved in a part of the DC universe that takes place in the 80s or even later on, maybe the latter 80s or even the early 90s. But you can't do it. You can't put Joaquin Phoenix's in, like, for instance, battling Aquaman in today's era, or having him battle off against Ezra Miller's Flash. But you could conceivably fit him into Wonder Woman 1984, but I think that would also be an awkward fit. I think if you just left him off to the side, maybe battling a Batman from that era, that would probably be the only option. But again, the way the movie is structured, the way the movie fits, I think it's best for a one-off. I really think a one-off is probably the best fit for this character.
Yeah, but again, Warner's and their money, so who knows? I mean, I would hope so. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I would like to, at some point I'll probably watch it. I heard there's an end credit scene. Is that something that's of any interest?
Well, it's not actually an end credit scene. There is no end credit scene. It's actually a scene that takes place right after what you think is the ending, and that basically throws you off as an audience member. And I thought it was totally unneeded and shoehorned in there. And Jason and I will be talking about that on the back half of the program. I think that was probably something that was very unneeded.
Okay, so you know, at the end of it all, do you think that this was a movie that needed to be made?
It wasn't a movie that needed to be made unless you're going to go ahead and really get into the themes that it does, that it showcases, because it does create the imagery and it does make a statement in regards to the themes of class structure and also as well mental illness. So if you want to take it as something that could be shown and represented as, hey, this is what can happen if, so we need to learn from it. If you use it from that context, yes, but in something that as far as beneficial for the DCEU, obviously not. I mean, again, this should be left as a standoff, one time only film. I think that's what Todd Phillips, I think that's what Joaquin Phoenix would prefer. Whether or not Warner Brothers does or doesn't, that's up to them. But again, this should be left alone as a one-time film. And should this movie have been created at all? That all depends. I mean, we didn't think there would be much of an interest for a Joker origin story, but again, with the money that's being, with all the people going to it in theaters, it looks like there was an interest in a Joker origin story after all.
All right, cool. Well, final verdict score. You got a number out of 10 here?
A number out of 10. I knew you were going to press me on that. Again, I can't say whether I liked or didn't like the film per se. I think I experienced it. It would probably be the best way to say it. I think I'll probably go with right now between 8 or a 9 would probably be the best way to say it. I think, like I said, it was probably a 9 film for me until the very, very end with a scene that just, it's one of those things where a 2-minute scene can ruin the entire movie for someone. And I can see that happening. But in this case, I think it just brings it down a notch. So I'd probably say between 8 or 9. I think it's a very good film. I don't know if people want to consider it a great film or the best movie of the year. I'm not sure even if that will qualify for me. Is that the case? But it may not. I may have to watch it again. I may like it even more. But I'll tell you what, right now, The Joker is a movie I think people need. If they, I don't want to say they need, but they think of this. The Joker is a movie people should experience if they really want to get a great synopsis of a character that I think that has long been revered in pop culture in the Joker, and also as well that tells a great statement on, on our life and our society and how we treat mental illness and class structure. What are your thoughts out there on The Joker? We'd love to hear from you. We want to hear your thoughts on if you liked the movie, if you didn't like the movie, or if you're like me, that you think that it's not a question whether it's like or dislike. If it's a question of, did you experience it and thought it was something beneficial, or if you experienced it and you really thought it was something altogether different. We'd love to hear your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Also as well, Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanica Media, and Game Source on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Well, coming up next, right after the break, Jamie Monroy is going to be going ahead and talking about Sniper Elite 3 on Switch. Plus also as well, later on, we're going to have Jason Todd Feinberg also giving his spoilery review of The Joker coming up as well. But right after Jamie, we're going to be talking about New York Comic Con real quick, some of the trailers that came out. Is there some interest as far as NYCC and everything it brings out? While it's not San Diego Comic Con, New York Comic Con had its own good things as well. And we'll talk about that after the break. This is the Pop Culture Cosmos. And we're back with the show. It's Gerald Glassford. Once again, right with my good friend, Josh Peterson. I want to thank Jamie Monroy for his thoughts on Sniper Elite 3 coming to the Switch and what his thoughts were on it. If you have a question on that, let us know on Pop Culture Cosmos on our social media. Josh, New York Comic Con was this past weekend. I know there were some good trailers that dropped, especially if you're a Star Trek or Walking Dead fan. I want to hear your thoughts real quick. I know those are not areas which you have a great expertise on, but still some kind of interest. Is there a buy-in for maybe Discovery in season 3 or Picard? I know a lot of people are talking about going back to that Star Trek Next Generation era with all the good stuff that Picard may be showing off real soon.
Well, I remember seeing the original trailers for Picard, and that's definitely something that I'd love to watch because it's got that cinematic feel of the Star Wars films, and just the fact that a character that was around in the 90s is someone that modern audiences want brought back because they really identified and felt familiar with this character. Like I would watch it. You know, if I had CBS streaming, I would watch it. Is it enough to make me want to go get it? Not at the moment, but that's just because I don't have a lot of time to watch TV. If I were at a point where I could sit down and watch something every night, I probably would, because I'm definitely curious about it. I do enjoy the movies, and I noticed that these new series no longer have that like cheesy tone that the old Star Trek shows and movies did. This one seems to be more cinematic, and it's geared towards younger audiences, and it has modern technology in it. So it's definitely something I would want to watch. But you are the fan, so I turn to your knowledge on all things Star Trek. What do you think about it?
Well, first off, let's go off. Let's talk about Discovery season 3. I think it's in a good place. Set it in a setting 930 years after the events of what happened in season 2. So I think that's a really good thing for them, that they're going ahead and evolving into that type of time period. So it looks like from what I saw in the trailer that it's going to be another good year of Discovery. I've been impressed with the series so far, and I'm looking forward to more good things from that series. I'm starting to grow really fond of that series at this point in time. With Picard, it's kind of funny because you see him, and it just brings back so many memories of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and it does also as well have Data. In the trailer, they showed off Data. They showed off Deanna Troi. They showed off Riker. So all these parts of this Next Generation will be in there, at least sprinkling in there from time to time. But it is Picard's show, and he is the central figure. And along with with the girl that he's going ahead and trying to save, this is going to be something that might be relatable to a new, pardon the pun, generation of fans, because it looks good. It's combining what there were good things that were about Star Trek: Next Generation, and if you also include Jerry Ryan, who's coming back as Seven of Nine, who's coming back for her role that she did with Star Trek Voyager. So if you want to bring, she's coming back to the show as well to be a part of this series. So it's very interesting to see her dynamic in there. But with all these characters already known from the Star Trek universe, but combining them with a group of individuals that we saw in the trailer that are fresh, are fresh, and bring a new perspective on it, it's going to be interesting to see where the series go from there. And yes, it's got me hooked already because it's Picard. So we'll see how far that goes. He's coming out of retirement, it looks like, from his winery, and probably, I believe, in the south of France, if memory serves, and coming back to go ahead and save the galaxy once again, or at least a girl that could, with the right, the girl that I guess holds a key to being a big part of saving the galaxy or something like that. So it gives you that inference of him having another mission to lead. And for a lot of people like me who have a lot of nostalgia for the Star Trek series, looks like it's going to head off in a good direction. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm pretty excited for the Picard series when it comes out in January. So they gave it, I believe, a January 21st. I think it's going to hit CBS All Access. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I want to ask you real quick, The Walking Dead not only talked about its season premiere coming up very soon, but also as well, it's new season that's here just about. But also it's new season that was here, but also as well, it's new series. And I want to get this from your vantage point, because I've been watching The Walking Dead off and on, been a diehard, then I've been off the wagon and I've been on it, depending on the storyline. There's now a third series that they're going to go ahead and do in early 2020, in spring 2020, that they're going to go ahead and debut. And I tell you what, I saw the trailer today. Yeah, it looks just like what we've been seeing from The Walking Dead. I'm not sure I'm bought into it. I mean, to me, I think it's something that I think a lot of people, unless they're a diehard Walking Dead fan, it's something I don't think that they really need.
No, and it's how much longer are they going to be able to ride this wave? Because I feel like Walking Dead's becoming the next Supernatural. Zombies just they're not popular anymore. It was a fad, and the fad is over. and not even the comic books have gone on this long. They are now about to go past the storylines in the comic books if they haven't already done it. I don't think that I think it's reached its end. It needs to end. It needs to tell a full story, because now it just feels like audiences are getting cheated, right? You devoted all this time to this show and there's no end in sight. There's going to be no conclusion. It's just going to run until people are getting tired of it. And I don't know how it keeps getting renewed for more seasons, because isn't viewership dropping dramatically with each season?
It has, especially in the last 2 to 3 seasons. It has dropped dramatically, but it's still garnering several million people, which is still the reason why it was way up there as far as viewership at its height, so far up there that even the fact that it's dropped over 50% of its viewers still puts it at several million viewers watching it, which tells you at the height of its popularity how popular it really was. So I like I said, I'm not really enthused for a third Walking Dead series, and I hope to get my good friend Daphne Matthew from the Walking Dead fan base to come on the show and talk about and share her thoughts on where the Walking Dead series stands. So I'd like to get her thoughts on that to delve into even more. So I mean, for me, it's just something that you're right. I'm hoping for a conclusive ending, maybe in a couple seasons. There's been rumors to that it might finish by the Walking Dead season 12. So we'll see. But this new series, I think, is unnecessary, and I just don't think it tells I just don't think it will tell a good enough narrative for people to care, because Fear of the Walking Dead hasn't connected with the type of audience I think that they've ever been looking for. I know it's been not something that a lot of people, even TWD fans, have really enjoyed throughout the years. So when it comes to what we're seeing with The Walking Dead, I'm not sure it's going to be all that great, even though Laurie Cohen is going to come back at some point in time full time for her to her role of Maggie, because the TV shows that she was working on haven't been all that successful. So the TV shows and films that she's been working on in her interim that she's been gone and away have not really worked out for her. So we'll have to see if that spices things up for The Walking Dead and the new Walking Dead series, which is yet to have a name, that's coming out in spring 2020. Last but not least, from the New York Comic Con, I think you might like this better, because I know we have talked about at one point in time the movie Snowpiercer. And Snowpiercer is something that we thought was a really good movie, under the radar movie that I think a lot of people should still like. It's one of the best Chris Evans movies, not named Captain America, that he's ever done. I want to ask you this, though, my friend. New York Comic Con debuted a trailer, like a background trailer of what went on and how it evolved to even get to the point of the Snowpiercer, which I think is really good, and it will tell that narrative, though. The only thing is, with it jumping from TNT to TBS to now back to TNT before the series has even started, is that a good sign, or is that a good sign for the show, or just does it mean that Turner really has some great ideas, just doesn't quite know which network that it will benefit the most from?
I don't know, because it took a little bit for this show to get made, if I remember correctly, right? Like, it was another network had it before.
Yeah. No, it's been all Turner. It's been flip-flopping between TNT to TBS while it's been in pre-production, while it's been gearing up. Turner Networks has had the rights to it. They just couldn't decide which network it was going to ultimately be on. I think as of this recording, I think actually it's going to be on TNT, but we'll have to wait and see when it finally comes out, which network it ultimately goes on. But to tell that background of how it happens, where the world decaying and all that, to show the early start of people, the class structure and the car structure of how the structure of how the train cars are at and how it came to be. If you've seen the movie, you understand what I mean. But I think Snowpiercer could be a TV series that, like the movie itself, is something that could go under the radar, but could be a very good thing to watch. So
yeah, I'm excited to watch it. Like I talked about this, right? We talked about Snowpiercer, and it was a really good movie. It was a sleeper hit, and it really, it's one of those movies where the whole thing takes place in one location. Really cool idea. Love the concept. my question would be, do you think there's enough content there to stretch out into an entire series of episodes?
Would have to be like maybe a max 12 episode season. I couldn't see it going 22 because then it really gets drawn out because you can only tell the story within the context of so many train cars.
Yeah.
Because there's 1,001 train cars as explained in the teaser trailer for Snowpiercer. And you really can't go outside because outside is supposed to be frozen. So if that's the case and you're within the confines of the train itself, then to tell the story and tell the narrative in a correct fashion, I think maybe if you keep it 8 to 12, I think you could really do a good job within the confines of that truncated season.
How many seasons do you think it could run?
A max, I'd say 3 or 4. But then again, I've been proven wrong before, so we'll have to wait and see. But I think Snowpiercer is a good thing to work off of as a series. I mean, the movie itself left both you and I thinking that there could be something more to this universe, for lack of a better term. So hopefully we will get that with Snowpiercer, the TV series. And I'm just concerned when it flip-flops back and forth between TNT and TBS. You know, that Turner can't get it straight, and that would only hurt the series before it even starts. So, well, again, we'll wait and see. But those are some of the thoughts of what came out of New York Comic Con.
Wait. I have a question.
Yeah.
What do you think about the theory that Snowpiercer is actually a sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Have you read that?
I've not read that. I've not heard that, but I don't know. That you'd have to go down.
It's a pretty deep rabbit hole.
Yeah,
check it out if you get a chance.
That's a pretty deep rabbit hole, and you'd have to eat a lot of chocolates before you actually go ahead and get there. What are your thoughts out there on what's going on with New York Comic Con? Was there anything that you thought really stood out? We'd love to hear your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, coming up after the break, we've got Jason Todd Feinberg from Honey Queen. He's going to give a spoilery review. So for the next 15 minutes, there's nothing but spoilers when it comes to the Joker. So you know what? If you really haven't seen, if you're gonna go see the movie and you don't want any spoilers, flip over to the 45-minute mark because we'll go ahead and have the rest of the show with Josh and I talking about numbers 61 to 70 on our top 200 and top 200 video games of all time, and the We Are Farmers and the best of the We Are Farmers commercials coming up right after the break. This is the Pop Culture Cosmos. All right, and we're back with. All right, and we're back to close out the show. This is the Pop Culture Cosmos. If you need a listing of where we're at, because we're being played all around the world, 7 days a week on great radio stations worldwide, check out our listings today, Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook, where you'll also see listings of many of our over 30 different podcast outlets as well. Well, Josh, you got a great thing going on with all the stuff that you're doing with Humanica Media, Topicocalypse, and congratulations, you suck. So give us an update. What's going on with the world of Josh Peterson?
You can pick up my book today on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Book Locker, and some other great booksellers. And also, we are making more Topicocalypse episodes, so you can check that out on our Podbean page. And also, it's on the Pop Culture Cosmos feed as well. So definitely give that a listen. We just did a Borderlands in review episode, and there's another one going up tomorrow night. So tune in, and we greatly appreciate it.
That is Topicocalypse. You can check it out today. That's TOPICOCALYPSE. Got it?
I think so. I you lost me at like TOPICALYPSE.
We'll go to the spelling bee later on. That's TOPICOCALYPSE. Topicocalypse. Takalaka. All right, my friend, we're breaking down another 10 on the top 200 video games of all time as voted on by our Pop Culture Cosmos followers. So I'll hit you up, my friend, on this. The list goes as follows. Number 70 is Mule. Number 69, Mother 3, a.k.a. Earthbound 2. Number 68, Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. Number 67, the original Kingdom Hearts. Number 66, the original Killer Instinct. Number 65, Fallout New Vegas. 64 is Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. Number 63 is Dragon Warrior Monsters. 62 is Double Dragon 2: The Revenge. 61 is Destiny. So I want to hear your thoughts, man, on number 61 to 70. Do you have any good memories of any of the games on this list?
Can I first of all just say how I love how on this mule one you specified that it's not about people putting drugs inside themselves?
Pretty much, yes.
All right, so going down the list, Mortal Kombat versus DC. So when this game came out, I worked at Best Buy, so I watched, I would walk down the aisle because I worked in the warehouse, so I always had to walk down the aisle where the TVs were always blaring, and they always had the Mortal Kombat versus DC trailer playing on there because I was a big Best Buy. There's special content I don't remember what it was. So I watched these trailers over and over again, and even though I know full well that I suck at fighting games, something about watching that commercial, it like subliminally got into my head, and I'm like, I need to buy this game. So I bought it on day one, took it home, played it for an hour, and I'm like, you know what? That's why I don't buy fighting games, because I suck at them. Love the story, though. Very cinematic look. Loved the, I think it was the first match I played, Batman vs. Sub-Zero. Very, very smooth combat. I love the mixture of the worlds, and it would be a cool thing. I'd love to see maybe like an anime series of that. Could be interesting. But anyways, my thoughts on that. Kingdom Hearts. So I actually just beat this not too long ago, last year sometime. So my first experience with Kingdom Hearts was it was something. It was a lot of Heartless, and you're Heartless, and I'm Heartless, and it's a storyline that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, but it was fun running around all the Disney sets and stuff like that. So eventually I will go back and finish the Kingdom Hearts series, but it's probably going to be, when I have like 6 years of free time. So Kingdom Hearts, fun game, takes a long time. Killer Instinct, this one's fun. I remember not having it, but on Friday nights, my parents would always take me to Blockbuster to rent a Sega game, and then we get a pizza, and we go home and eat pizza, and I play games. Among these games was Killer Instinct. I remember always wanting to be the werewolf, and I had a buddy who was always the guy with the hat. I don't know what his name was, but this game, hold on, sorry.
That's okay. There's World War II right outside your door with all the planes coming out there.
Well, the air show was today too, so there's still
the air show. Yeah, the air show's still on.
Yeah, it's been crazy, man. There's like a jet flew down over the street and caused all the car alarms to go off on our street.
Too funny. Go ahead.
Okay, so Killer Instinct, love it. I remember it was always one of my favorite Sega games. Again, another fighting game. I think this was what started my adventures in sucking at fighting games, but I still remember playing it just because it was fun. I played with my friends. Fallout New Vegas, it's a very long game. I didn't like it as much as I liked Fallout 3, but it came out during a dry spell of games, so I think that's the only reason I did pick it up. Love the game, love the world. I'm hoping that the Outer Worlds has that same kind of feel that Fallout does. I know it won't be as big of a game, but it was fun, for a game that Obsidian took over a property that was originally made by Bethesda. They did a very, very good job with it. Okay, moving down, Double Dragon 2. I know you have some experience with Double Dragon. I've played the arcade game. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. I've played the arcade games. They are what they are. They're no Golden Axe, but they're fun. And Destiny, unfortunately, I've never played Destiny. I remember I was going to, and then my friends all played it without me, and they said that it's not a good game, so don't pick it up, so I never did. What about you, though? Anything special on this list that stands out?
For me, I'd say maybe Destiny. I know there was a lot of hype on that game. I thought it was going to be the game that was going to be that next just top tier, AAA, top 5 all-time game that would just go down in history as something that was really special. I mean, the way it was hyped, the advance notice, the demos, the whole 9 yards, the way it was presented, it looked, and the pedigree of the individuals involved and the development studios involved with Bungie and all that, it looked like it was going to be a game that people wouldn't soon forget. And unfortunately, it came out to be something that a lot of people did forget as soon as they finished playing with it. It's just something that it's good. So it was all right, but it wasn't something that was truly memorable that a lot of people could take away from. I know the community that was there is a diehard community that still loves that and Destiny 2 to this day. In fact, Destiny 2 is reaching the heights of popularity that it hadn't even gotten to originally when it was released. It hadn't gotten to when it was released. And I think in the past couple weeks, they've come out with more DLC and more DLC that have attracted even a larger audience than it ever has, which is good because now that Bungie is an independent developer on its own without Activision or Microsoft looking down its shoulder, then it looks like hopefully they'll be able to go ahead and expand the Destiny universe for the better even more. But for me, it's something that's going to be hard to ever get back into again because I just wasn't impressed with it in the first place. And what I thought it would be, it just never lived up to what I thought it could be. With Double Dragon 2, didn't like the revenge too much. Not anywhere as good as the original. And with me, most of the games on this 10 is just not impressing me. It did not impress me at one time or another. Not a big fan of Killer Instinct, unfortunately, or Kingdom Hearts. Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe is not anywhere near the best Mortal Kombat game, but I guess out of all of them, I'd say Fallout New Vegas was the best experience for me as far as any of this 10. And I think from Obsidian, I think this is probably one of the best showcases of the Fallout series. In fact, for many, and possibly even me as well, this could be the best Fallout game they've ever released. I know that's a lot to say with a lot of people that love Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Certainly not Fallout 76 because that's been a train wreck. That's been a train wreck that has already happened. So I think my favorite Fallout game of all of them is Fallout New Vegas, and that's on this. But Fallout has never been really a series that I've gotten 100% behind. I've enjoyed my time in it, but not really considered it one of my all-time favorite series. So that's the latest list of 10 games right there for you, number 61 to 70. If you want to check out the entire list, if you want to check out the list in its entirety, check it out today, popculturecosmos.wordpress.com. They're already up to number 1, so you can take a look at the list 10 by 10 by 10 by 10. It's all right there for you. Otherwise, you'll be hearing us complete the list right here on the Pop Culture Cosmos and our Friday show, the PCC Multiverse. Well, my friend, I want to thank, first off, Jamie Monroy for giving us that great review of Sniper Elite 3 on the Switch, plus also as well Jason Todd Feinberg from Honeyqueen for stopping by to share his spoilery thoughts on the Joker as well. Again, if you have any thoughts on today's show, if you have any thoughts on some of the subjects on today's show, just let us know, Pop Culture Cosmos. But before we head on out, my friend, I got to hear your thoughts on the best farmers insurance commercials that you've ever seen.
All right. Well, my top 3 are the Hall of Claims, the swing set standoff with the moose, where the moose is just running into the swing set. Love that. The rooftop parking was good. And also, I am a huge fan of the Rock and Wreck one because we've all done that thing in our cars where we rock out on the steering wheel, but this guy accidentally went too far and ran into a building. So I'm a huge fan just because I like J.K. Simmons a lot. The Geico commercials are funny, but I just remember actually literally laughing out loud when watching some of these farmers insurance commercials. So that's where I stand on that. Do you have any favorites?
For me, I agree with you on the Rockin' one. I think that's something that's very funny. It keeps me smiling when I see it. I'll tell you what, it's something that of them, because they're not as memorable to me as they are to you. I mean, for me, it's the Geico commercials more, but I will tell you that one is pretty funny. Just I feel like headbanging right now as we speak. But yes, that's a good commercial, and I think it's probably my favorite. And for me, that is saying something because, again, I think I've gravitated towards the Geico commercials even more. That style of humor for commercials seems to fit better with me, and it seems like the style of the farmers insurance commercials seems to fit you a little bit more. What that says about you and I don't even know because they're not even my insurance companies. So you know what? They haven't worked to their fullest intent. So I'm not a Geico customer, and I'm not a farmers insurance customer. So sorry. Are you?
No, I'm not. I just think their commercials are funny. I'm a Auto Club member, so
Yeah, same. I'm not one of theirs as well. So you know what? Sorry. The intended effect from Geico and Farmers Insurance, while they're good, hasn't really given us the impetus to buy and go ahead and save whatever money from either of those companies. My friend has been go ahead.
You know, it was funny when Geico used to do those. It's so easy a caveman can do it. Those were good Geico commercials. I miss those.
Well, that was on my list of the Geico commercials. So,
but remember, they had a whole like running series of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the one in the airport was the best, though. I thought that was really good. But need I digress? So this week you'll be seeing a list. So this week you'll be seeing a battle on our. This week you'll be seeing a poll on our website that we'll keep running on there between Geico and Farmers Insurance. And one last thought before we go on out. If you get a chance and you go, can you please go to discoverpods.com for us? It's that time of the year. The Discover Pods nominations for the best podcasts are up and running, and you can help the Pop Culture Cosmos be a part of that process. If we get enough votes, we can actually be in the running for the best movie and TV podcast that's out there, and we would love and be honored if that's the case. So if you can help us out, go to discoverpods.com and go ahead and vote for the Pop Culture Cosmos for the best TV and movie podcast. We would truly be indebted to you if you could. Or check out our listings on our Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, and all of our other social media outlets. We'll be posting that link that you can go right there and vote this week as well. So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. Oh, okay. Somebody sent me a football question. So for I just got to answer this. I'm sorry. Hold on. Harris. He asked me if we're doing fantasy football stuff.
Oh, who? Chris?
No, a audience member who watched who's been watching our stuff on, with Chris Lardieri and Jason Mummer, Jason Dutch, and all that. So.
Oh, nice! I got some audience questions.
Yes. I know this looks good for live television. That'd be great.
It's all good.
All right, here we go. So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. This is another beautiful day in paradise right here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great